Welcome everyone. I'm so happy you're here today. In this video, you'll listen to a peaceful and inspiring story called Empty Your Mind. It's not only a story about life, it's also a great way to practice your English listening and understanding. So, sit back, take a deep breath, and relax. Let's begin the story. There was once a young man named Adam who lived in a small village surrounded by green hills and rivers. He was kind, gentle, and quiet. People in the village liked him because he was always polite and helpful. But inside his heart, Adam was not happy. He carried a heavy weight, a mind full of thoughts. Every morning, when the sun rose, Adam's thoughts started running like wild horses. He thought about the mistakes he made in the past, words he wished he didn't say, chances he wished he didn't lose. He remembered people who hurt him and times when life was unfair. He couldn't forget. Then, when he tried to stop thinking about the past, his mind moved to the future. He worried about what would happen next. What if I never find peace? What if I fail again? What if my dreams never come true? His mind was like a noisy market, full of voices, fears, and memories. He wanted silence, but he didn't know how to find it. He tried reading books, talking to friends, and even walking for hours, but nothing worked. His thoughts always came back, louder than before. At work, while he helped his father in the fields, his hands moved, but his mind was somewhere else. At night, when the stars filled the sky, Adam looked at them and whispered, "Why can't I stop thinking? Why can't I just be free?" But the stars didn't answer. One evening, after another long day, Adam decided to walk into the forest near his village. The forest was quiet. The air smelled fresh, and the sound of birds faded as the sun went down. He sat under a big old tree, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. He tried to empty his mind, but thoughts kept coming like waves. Then he heard soft footsteps. When he opened his eyes, he saw an old monk walking slowly with a small lamp. The light from the lamp shone gently on the monk's face. He looked calm, completely peaceful, as if the world's noise couldn't touch him. The monk smiled and asked, "Why are you sitting here, young man?" Adam sighed. "My mind is too heavy," he said quietly. "I can't stop thinking. I remember my past. I worry about my future, and I feel tired all the time." The monk nodded slowly and said, "Then it's time for you to learn how to empty your mind." Adam looked confused. "Empty my mind? How can I do that?" The monk sat beside him and said, "When your cup is full of water, you can't pour more into it. Your mind is like that cup, full of thoughts, fear, and worry. To find peace, you must first empty it." Adam listened carefully. The wind blew softly through the trees. He didn't fully understand, but something about the monk's words touched his heart. The monk slowly stood up and said, "Come to the temple tomorrow morning. I will show you how." Then the old monk walked away, leaving Adam alone with the sound of the forest. For the first time in a long time, Adam felt something new. A small spark of hope. That night, when he lay down to sleep, his mind was still noisy. But deep inside, he whispered to himself, "Maybe I can learn to empty my mind." And that night, Adam slept more peacefully than ever before. The next morning, Adam woke up earlier than ever before. The sky was still pink, and the air felt soft and cool. He remembered the monk's words from last night. "Come to the temple tomorrow morning. I will show you how." So Adam washed his face, put on clean clothes, and started walking toward the mountain. The path was quiet. He could hear the sound of birds singing and the wind moving gently through the trees. The world around him looked peaceful, so different from the noise inside his head. For the first time in many days, Adam noticed how beautiful everything was. The morning sunlight touched the leaves, and small drops of dew shined like diamonds. He smiled a little. Maybe today he would learn something that could change his life. When Adam reached the temple, the old monk was sweeping the floor. The place was simple, made of wood and stone, surrounded by trees and silence. The monk looked up and said warmly, "Good morning, Adam. I knew you would come." Adam smiled shyly. "I want to learn, but I don't know how to begin," he said. The monk pointed to a mat and said, "Sit down. Close your eyes and just listen." Adam did as he was told. At first, he heard the sound of wind, birds, and water flowing nearby. It was peaceful, but soon his thoughts came back, loud and messy. "This is too hard. I can't stop thinking. What if I fail again?" He opened his eyes, frustrated. "I can't do it," he said. "My thoughts won't stop." The monk smiled calmly and replied, "Don't fight your thoughts, Adam. That's not the way. Your thoughts are like clouds in the sky. You can't stop the clouds, can you? But you can watch them move." Adam listened carefully. He closed his eyes again and imagined his thoughts as clouds. Big clouds for his fears, small ones for his memories. He didn't try to stop them. He just watched them pass. Something started to change. His breathing slowed. His shoulders relaxed. The noise in his mind began to fade. It didn't disappear completely, but it became softer, lighter. Minutes passed, but to Adam, it felt like only seconds. He felt calm, warm, and quiet inside. For the first time, he wasn't thinking about the past or the future. He was simply here, in the present moment. The monk spoke softly. "This is the beginning of peace. Your mind is learning to rest. The more you practice, the easier it will become." Adam opened his eyes slowly. The world around him looked brighter. The green leaves, the blue sky, even the air felt fresh and new. He whispered, "I feel different. I feel peaceful." The monk nodded. "That peace was always inside you," he said. "You just never stopped to feel it." Adam smiled. He finally understood. Peace was not something he had to find in the world. It was already within him, waiting for silence to wake it up. That evening, when Adam walked home, he felt lighter. The same village, the same people, but everything looked more beautiful. Even his own heart felt new. That night, he sat by the river again. The water flowed gently, and the stars reflected on its surface. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and felt the silence inside him. For the first time, Adam wasn't afraid of his thoughts. He was their watcher, calm, strong, and free. Days passed, and Adam kept visiting the monk every morning. He practiced silence, breathing, and being present. Slowly, his mind became lighter. He laughed more, slept better, and started to enjoy small moments. The sound of rain, the smell of tea, the smile of a child. One morning, after their usual meditation, the monk looked at Adam and said, "You are learning well. But remember, real peace is not only for quiet places. It must live in your heart, even when the world around you is noisy." Adam listened carefully. He didn't fully understand, but he trusted his teacher. The monk smiled and said, Go back to your village for a few days. Live your normal life. Talk to people, work, and face your problems. Then come back to me and tell me what you learned." Adam bowed deeply. "Yes, master," he said. He felt confident, calm, and ready. He believed that nothing could disturb his peace anymore. When Adam returned to the village, everyone noticed a change. He looked brighter, kinder, and more peaceful. His friends asked, "What happened to you?" Adam smiled and said softly, "I just learned how to empty my mind." But life soon tested him. A few days later, his father became sick. Adam had to work twice as hard in the fields and take care of everything at home. The stress grew. People complained, problems appeared, and old fears returned. At first, Adam tried to stay calm. But one night, after a long day, he sat by the river and felt the storm inside again. His thoughts shouted, "What if my father doesn't get better? What if I fail again?" He closed his eyes and tried to breathe, but this time it didn't work. He felt angry and lost. He said to himself, "Maybe peace only works in the temple. Maybe it's not real." Then, as he sat there, he remembered the monk's words. Real peace is not only for quiet places. It must live in your heart. He took a deep breath. He stopped fighting his thoughts and just watched them, like clouds passing through the sky. Slowly, the storm in his mind began to calm down. He realized that peace was not something outside him. It was something he had to choose again and again, even in the middle of pain. The next morning, Adam returned to the temple. The monk was sitting near the same old tree where they first met. When he saw Adam, he smiled and said, "You've seen your true lesson, haven't you?" Adam nodded. "Yes, master. I understand now. Peace is not when everything is perfect. It's when I stay calm, even when things go wrong." The monk smiled warmly. "You have emptied your mind, Adam, not by running away from life, but by facing it with stillness." Adam felt a deep joy inside. He looked around, at the trees, the mountains, the sky. Everything seemed alive, quiet, and full of meaning. He bowed to the monk and said, "Thank you for showing me that silence is not the absence of sound. It is the peace that lives within." That evening, Adam walked home under the golden sunset. He was no longer the sad young man who feared his past or future. He was present, free, and peaceful, finally at home in his own mind. Dear friends, if you enjoyed this peaceful story, please like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more simple and beautiful English stories. Remember, your mind is powerful, but peace begins when you learn to let go. Take a deep breath and empty your mind.